All right, y'all, so we are out here at my local dock. This is off of Lake Eustis, and I have set up with the Action 5 Pro on this Tesla neck mount, and I have the GoPro Hero 11 on this mount. We're just gonna test out here, and it is just really beautiful out here right now, but the wind isn't too bad. But we're gonna test the audio as well as the visuals with these two Action cameras, and just kind of compare, see how they are. And I have a bait rigged up. Let's go ahead and get to fishing. Let's see what we can catch, and let's see how the quality of these cameras are. All right, y'all, so that intro is actually from like last week. We tried to go ahead as soon as we got the camera, do some filming, but I just felt it was unfair, the scenario. GoPro using the medium mod, I was using the non-enduro battery. I also had some settings kind of changed and stuff, so I thought it was only fair to go back, reset everything, and then re-roll the footage. So here you guys go. Here's going to be the footage that I actually recorded today. All right, and the GoPro's rolling. So I have both of these set at 4K 60 frames per second. So it is low light. It is getting towards sunset. But we just wanted to take these two out. I didn't want to use the... Let me go ahead and... So what I noticed was the last time I came out here with the DJI, all of the grain on the wood, the ground seemed more high definition or better quality for what I saw. But I made sure this time to make it more fair that I have it set on both on rock steady and hyper smooth for the GoPro. We have it at 4K 60 frames per second, and I don't have any settings done for noise or wind reduction or anything on either of them. And with the GoPro, I don't have the medium mod on, which I had last time. So I think that chunked into the battery as well, because the GoPro lasted about 18 minutes on 4K before it died on me. So I put the Enduro battery in, and I made sure that we are at full charge on the battery and no issues. But the battery didn't die because of not enough battery. It died from overheating. But with the medium mod on, I believe it was just burning through the battery. So wanted to make it fair. Wanted to make sure the audio was at least fairly comparable for the two. But I wanted to try this out in kind of a low light situation on this dock where the sun's setting, coming down, and just kind of give you a view of everything. I mean, like, you guys see all this grass here and stuff. I want to see how it picks up the quality. I know when I came out here last time, the GoPro was a lot darker and better lighting and very grainy on the quality. So I'm interested to see how that goes with this trip, but I'm trying to keep it as fair as possible on all the settings and stuff. Now, you guys are probably wondering why I'm using a GoPro Hero 11 versus, say, a 13 or a 12, comparing it. Well, your boy doesn't have the money for it, but two, the GoPro 11, actually, all of the camera specs itself, other than like the hyper smooth, the camera specs are exactly the same. Now, I believe they did get a boost to the battery, but like the megapixels, the sensor, the camera, film quality and everything is the same. So I figured, what's really the huge difference of using the 11 versus using, say, the 13? I don't feel like there is much other than maybe the overheating, but from what I understand, GoPro still has that issue. So, but yeah, I have the GoPro just chilling on a chesty, and then I have the Action 5 is sitting on my little Tesla neck mount. But I'm just out here fishing, just doing it for the kind of the image quality. Wanted to kind of compare the two and see if we have a real difference of them. So But yeah, this will be kind of like a blended video if you guys are watching it. It's I went out on the first trip. It was a little more sunny, so I'll kind of show some footage of that, and then we're gonna hop into this footage, kind of see it's a little lower light scenario. But I want this to be a fair comparison for the audio. So like I said, there's no wind reduction for the DJI that I have set. And then as for the GoPro, I don't even know if the GoPro really even has a built-in kind of wind reduction. But we got this bait. We'll just show this off. So got a little Evo chatterbait, and I put this little 6 Sense, what is it called? The 6 Sense, I can't remember what it's called, but it's just like a little flat little guy that actually work pretty good. They smell absolutely terrible, but rigging them drop shot, they actually look really good. But I was just kind of wanted to see how it rolled on a chatterbait, and it actually looks pretty good. Yeah, so just to kind of give you guys a time right now, it is 5:20. So it's 5:20 right now. Like I said, the sun usually drops around like 5:30 or so. So we may not even get a full test on if you know, either one of these will overheat. It's pretty cool out, but if one of them does overheat, that'd be pretty bad. But like I said, the first time I tested it, I had the GoPro medium mod on, as well as one of the older batteries. So you never know if you know, that kind of had anything to do with why it overheated in like 18 minutes. But I will say this to verify on the DJI, I fished for over 4 hours the other day, and I had 0 issues with overheating. And it was a hot day out. It was definitely hot out, but I had 0 issues with overheating, and I only had to go through one battery and then work into another battery maybe for like, I'd say like a half hour, and it was like at 85% from being full. So we only used like, you know, one battery and then like an eighth of another one. So I was very impressed with that for, you know, fishing for 4.5 hours and only using a battery and change, which causes me not have to switch, causes me to be able to spend more time fishing. And then on the DJI, if you don't have the little protective bracket on, which I still end up doing, it is so easy to change the battery. You just pop the side and boom, it's out. Like GoPro, it's a little tougher, but I will say that like I would give it kind of a tie on that. But I don't know how it's going to look on the GoPro versus the DJI, but I would just assume based off of other footage that it's going to be a lot darker than it actually is right now. So, but yeah, I'm going to take a few more casts just for me, for my sake of just fishing out here. But you know, the GoPro hasn't overheated. We'll look at it, time check, and we'll kind of get the battery life. So the GoPro is at 72% battery life. We've been recording for 17 minutes, which the DJI has recorded a little less because I had to shut it off. So the DJI is about a minute behind. It's at like a minute, 16 minutes and 30 some seconds. And with the DJI, we have 88% battery. So dock as well before we leave, so that way you guys can kind of look at the kind of definition. So like right here, kind of see what's going on. And we'll kind of do another battery check right now while that's sitting there. So we are at 60% with the GoPro. and we are at 83 with the DJI. Now let's feel. Temperature's warm with the DJI. With the GoPro, the GoPro is significantly hotter. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the quality looks like. But yeah, we'll definitely do a little video recording my kind of final thoughts of everything. Once I get to watch the footage, I want to make sure, you know, I hear the audio, watch the footage, and see everything before I, you know, make my decision. But kind of show you guys the rods, see if you guys can. But yeah, walking through here. So I will say, in the evening, without the sun being out as much, battery life lasted a little longer today for the GoPro. So we're at 36% at 38 minutes, and here we're at 37.5 for 72%. Yeah, and I can notice on the screen, it's completely almost pitch dark on the GoPro, and for the Action 5, I can still see everything almost exactly. It looks exactly like it is currently, you know, right now outside. So, but with that being said, that's going to wrap it up, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts on, you know, what my decision is once I review the footage. All right. As you guys saw the footage, you know, the footage really will explain everything. Now, mind you, on YouTube, it's going to be a little different than what you see. You know, on my computer, I could definitely tell the difference. These two cameras, you know, I will say both of them will get the job done, and I think they both did a decent job. One did a lot better than others. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but now starting off with the GoPro, let's go over everything that we saw on this. And first, I want to start off, this is actually from GoPro's website. So I'm sure a lot of you watching the footage are like, oh, that's a GoPro Hero 11, not like a 13. It's not the newest version. It's not the newest GoPro. Well, it kind of throws you off a little bit, because here's what happens is I went to GoPro's website to kind of check out the specs to really see, you know, what's changed, and not too much. When it comes to the actual, like, internals of the camera, they haven't really changed anything. So going over this, and you could do your own independent research on this, just go to GoPro.com. They show all the specs of their cameras. So I'm just going to compare the 13 to the 11 now. So we're just going to go down the line. So both single lens cameras. The GoPro 13 has Hypersmooth 6 versus 5.0 with the 11. So you're getting a little bit more on the video stabilization. I won't really know the huge difference of them, but from my previous GoPros, the stabilization was always good. So I don't really notice that much of a difference on that. But we're going to go through a lot of this other stuff that's not really like, I mean, the top video modes, you know, they both roll in 5.3K. But here, let's go into this now. We're talking about the actual specs of the GoPro. So the GoPro 11 to the 13 both have a 27.13 megapixel camera. Going down, the dimensions are the exact same. The weight on the 11 is actually a little lighter. Now, I'm assuming that is because of the mods, you know, adding extra mods like the lens mods and stuff for the 13. Maybe beefed it up a little bit in weight. Same size touchscreen, same size front screen. Both the Enduro batteries, but I will say the Enduro battery for the 13 is larger. So I have to believe that the battery will last just a little longer than this one. So the camera specs are almost exactly the same, pretty much. The only difference is the battery life is a little bit more. I'm getting that larger battery, and then you have a lot more features of lenses and mods that you can add to this camera. That being said, we decided to use this to test it out because I own the GoPro Hero 11, and my results with this is in low light situations was not very good. And then for the battery, as you guys saw in the video, we tested it out, and the final outcome of running both cameras for about 33 minutes. Now, the GoPro ran for about, I think, 33.5 minutes, and it was around 32% battery. When it comes to the battery life, you know, DJI just destroyed that. And whenever it came to the low light, I mean, as you guys saw in the picture, I mean, it is like night and day. But what I will say is when these two cameras for the GoPro, the video quality when this was it was still bright out was very good. I mean, I will say that the GoPro does a good job of like saturation. It kind of, I don't want to say oversaturates, because I noticed on the DJI in some spots there was more saturation than others, but for the most part it kept more of the natural lighting and natural color tones, to whereas the GoPro, when it was very light out, was always pretty saturated, and then as it went on it kind of got grayer, grainier, etc. So but just the GoPro's video quality, I will say, when it was still bright out, was extremely good. But the downfalls of the GoPro battery and also the low light really brought this guy down. And yeah, it just wasn't that good. So, I mean, for me, the biggest thing, and you guys saw in my last video, the two things that I really wanted GoPro to improve, and hopefully in the 13, hey, I don't know from first experience, so you can only take so much of what I'm telling you, but as using as the GoPro 11, it really, you know, is nowhere near as good as the DJI Action 5. Alright, so talking about the GoPro battery, so we use the Enduro battery, and I will have to say though, compared to the regular battery, you know, before like the GoPro Hero 10 batteries, or even just the regular GoPro batteries, the longevity between the Enduro and the regular one is like night and day, because I was in about 75-80% the last time I went out there, and it burned through that battery so quick. And with this Enduro battery, it lasted a lot longer. So we recorded, like I said, for around 33 minutes, and it used up 70% of the battery at 4K 60 frames per second. So I will say the Enduro battery is the way to go if you do use the GoPro. And but the Action 5 is 100% the winner to me. Let's kind of go over what I really liked about the DJI. Now, I left everything on both of these cameras at the normal setting. I didn't really change anything too much, so they were both basically on their factory settings. Now, when it came to the audio, they were pretty much neck and neck. I will say I did hear a little bit more wind noise on the GoPro. In the end, I think that they were pretty much a exact tie when it comes to audio. Both sounded very similar. But I will say, though, that the DJI handled wind noise better. And this is with the wind set off, the noise reduction set off. When it came to the picture, I mean, you can just see so much more detail on the DJI Action 5 than I do on the Hero 11. You know, the grain on the wood, the ground on the docks, the, you know, ripples in the water, everything seemed more natural, to where as there was a lot more contrast and saturation with the GoPro. I will say a lot of people, I have seen YouTubers and people, whenever they're creating their videos, they tend to go in and change a lot of the settings on these, and that was one of the things I didn't want to do on either of these. I didn't want to change the sharpness. I didn't want to change any settings to where it gives you a different sense of what you're actually getting out of the box. And I do notice when people say about the sharpness on DJI, but I think where that really comes into effect for me, that I think really achieves what I want, is as a fisherman, I'm fishing in those low light situations early in the morning, late at night, in the evening, and I will say the DJI, with that more sharpness, it actually helps with textures and stuff come out better with that sharpness than whenever it's darker with the GoPro, because whenever you can actually still see in that low light, it's very grainy and blurry, to whereas the DJI kind of tightens that up and makes it more sharp. So I really like that about it. And as you guys can see, it was literally night and day when it came to the low light situation. Like when I was walking back, I couldn't see anything on the GoPro, and you could see everything clearly as if you were walking that dock, leaving just as I was. Everything looked almost exactly the same in that low light situation, which is what I really wanted. I hope the video helps some of you guys kind of see the difference, especially like for what you pay. For the DJI Action 5, it was $350, and you're looking at, for the new GoPro, it's $400. Now, both of those might run deals for like Black Friday or, you know, the holidays. They might have specials, so definitely look out for it. I can attest to the GoPro Hero 13, so you guys are gonna have to do your own research on that, but I am not sponsored at all. I have no affiliation with either of them. Just me as a content creator, being a fishing YouTuber. The DJI meets my needs 100% more, especially the battery life. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment in the description of what your thoughts are on the video. If you like this kind of content, you know, what's your thoughts if you do have one of these cameras? Biggest thing you like about them, what you don't like about them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, y'all, peace.